Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now today there is more news on the new Xbox console and where Microsoft is headed in the future. There has been some new articles that came out and it really does shed light on Microsoft's thinking and where they are going in the next generation of their console iteration. We're going to dive right into it. So first we're going to dive into this article from Jez Corden from Windows Central, guys, and it reads, Microsoft's ambitious new Xbox, your entire console library, the full power of Windows PC gaming, and no multiplayer paywall. So this is a no-brainer to me. If they want to capture that PC crowd and take a little bit from it, they're going to have free multiplayer just like regular PC users get. Otherwise, there's no chance in hell they're going to spend the money on a system like this. Now, what does this mean for Game Pass prices? Time will tell on that, guys. It's really hard to say. But having the ability to just go online and play multiplayer without having to pay for Game Pass is a win in my opinion. I have a feeling they're going to recoup their costs one way or the other, so they're going to get you another way. Now, Jez also goes on to say, as many of us who come to expect, the next Xbox will indeed run full-bore Windows with a TV-optimized console-style experience layered on top. Microsoft decided to sideline its own Xbox handheld plans and go to market with the Xbox Ally in partnership with Asus this year to start gathering feedback on the experience that will essentially power the next wave of console hardware. I'm told that Microsoft still plans to make its own Xbox handheld eventually too. Xbox President Sarah Bond has teased a variety of first-party Xbox hardware made in partnership with AMD. What will all of this look like though? So yeah, guys, this is a tough one here. I don't know why they would even bring the Ally out. I would have just waited until they brought their hardware out for the next generation and then maybe bring out the handheld with it side by side. Do it all at once, and then you have your own branded handheld just like Sony does. And given the popularity of the Nintendo Switch, I think this would have been a no-brainer. I'm honestly not too sure what the reasoning behind the Ally was here. Again, Microsoft has their own reasons for putting this stuff out, but it really doesn't make any sense to me. Now, we'll just touch on the Ally's issues here for a moment while we're on the subject, guys. Now, the Ally has come out. It did sell out. We don't know how many they actually made. They are in short supply, so I'm assuming it's not that many. The Ally has been plagued with constant update issues. You can't really opt out of the Windows experience to make it feel like a true Xbox unit. The full game library is not available on this. It's mostly games on the go from what I've heard. So some of your game library will just simply not be available on this. Obviously, the big elephant in the room is the price point. It's inherently expensive, and I think this is really going to kill any demand for this sort of system. I've already seen some of these kicking around in pawn shops already that have been traded in, so that tells you something when a brand new product comes out and then it's already in a pawn shop. People just aren't happy with their purchase. We'll see where the Ally goes, but I have a feeling that if Microsoft does drop their own handheld, this will just kill this, and there'll be kind of an obsolete machine that no one will really want. We'll see if I'm right or wrong on that in a few years down the road. So let's talk about backwards compatibility. It seems like Microsoft is going in the right direction with this, and it states, furthermore, thanks to new silicon from AMD, already approved all the way up to CFO Amy Hood and CEO Satya Nadella, the new Xbox will also run all games currently available on the Xbox Series X/S library. This means all the OG Xbox backwards compatible games, all the Xbox 360 back compatible games, all the Xbox One games, and all the current future Xbox Series X/S games. These games will run natively on the new Xbox and launch seamlessly via the new Xbox Launcher's library. Like any new console generation, developers will likely continue supporting the Xbox Series XS development environment for several years after the new Xbox drops in. Over time, more and more games will get next-gen Xbox native versions too, targeting the specific configuration therein. AI-powered technologies like Auto Super Resolution and the next-gen frame generation will boost Xbox Series XS games running on the new hardware. But developers will also have the option to target the new Xbox directly with Xbox Play Anywhere versions and Xbox's smart delivery tech. New technology Microsoft is developing alongside the fixed nature of the hardware should eliminate a lot of the inconveniences that sometimes come with PC gaming. Things like compiling shaders, etc. shouldn't be an issue on the new Xbox. For example, Microsoft is working on additional ways to reduce Windows overhead to the benefit of all PC gamers, Xbox or not. Momo wanted to say hi. Guys, this is good news if you have a large game library like most of us do. There are a ton of backwards compatible games, and anyone that plays Game Pass will also have access to the newer ones and the ones they have already. So this is a win for Microsoft here. They need to keep doing this. Honestly, they need to keep making the library bigger for the backwards compatible titles. I think that would be a real win for gamers in general. A benefit us console guys do have is you put a game in your machine, it usually plays perfect. You know, you don't have to do any horsing around with Windows updates and stuff. It kind of seems like they're going to keep in vein with that going forward on the new system. We'll see how that plays out. I have a feeling, though, if it does have like a Windows backbone, then you are going to have to do some manual type horsing around with it, maybe. I could be wrong. It could be that plug and play experience that automatically updates and you really don't have to do anything. I would really hope it is like that, but we'll see. Because that's a big deterrent for me and PC gaming is I hate when you get a new game and then you have to mess with, you know, shaders and you have to go into like your AMD software and mess around with stuff or get new drivers. That's one of the big pains in the butt for PC gaming. And most PC guys are used to that. I just want to be able to put a disc in a machine and it work, and that's where it ends. Or, you know, just press play on the Xbox and it works. So hopefully Microsoft can keep a fine balance between the two. So we'll jump into the next part of the article here, guys. And it reads, indeed, the Xbox Ally and Ally X with his Xbox full screen experience is essentially what the next Xbox will look like. It's not dissimilar to the SteamOS interface and the big picture mode, which allows you to exit into full Linux at will. Similarly, the Xbox full screen experience will allow you to exit full screen Windows if you want to. Similarly, the Xbox full screen experience will allow you to exit to full Windows if you want to and run competing stores like Steam, Epic Games Store, Microsoft's own Battle.net, the Riot client, and indeed anything else you want. Indeed, you could run Adobe CC or Microsoft Office on the next Xbox if you so choose. Where the Xbox console will differ from a traditional Windows PC is that it will feel like a traditional Xbox console out of the box. The onboard experience will be similar to what you get today on console, and if you choose, you can remain fully inside the Xbox ecosystem, never touching Windows itself. Exiting out to Windows will be for those who want to access games traditionally not available on Xbox, including PlayStation games on Steam, mouse and keyboard first games like League of Legends, or even classic games from the GOG and the like. You will be able to run PlayStation's PC titles like God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, and Spider-Man on the next Xbox, purchased via Steam or Epic Games. You will be able to play World of Warcraft on the next Xbox via Battle.net. You'll also be able to install practically any game that runs on Windows, giving you access to decades upon decades of content on a single device. So my thoughts on this are, I understand why Microsoft is doing this. They really want every game platform on the Xbox, and that's what they're trying to do. So they're obviously making it window-based so it can run all of these different services, and you can play every game on your Xbox. Totally understand that. My thinking with it is, though, console players tend to just be console players. They just want to pop the game in and play it. So all of this extra stuff, I'm not too sure if it's going to get them a lot more of a bigger audience or not. I have a feeling it won't, because people playing these games are already playing these on PC. I don't really see any need for them to, you know, switch over to Xbox to play these now. If you're playing on PC, I'm sure the experience is the way you like it, right? A feeling they think they're going to get more customers than they actually will by doing this. I don't know anything about market research or what the thinking is at Xbox. I know they're trying to take over the gaming world, and this is a stepping stone to try to get all these services on one machine. I understand that. I just don't think the PC crowd's going to switch over, guys. I'm just being realistic. Now, as you know, Microsoft is all about the money, guys. With the Game Pass fiasco, them raising the prices on everything when they didn't actually need to. And the news came out that it was just the higher-ups wanted a 30% profit margin on all Xbox products. That's the only reason they raised prices on Game Pass. You will see physical media and game prices go up over this, I'm sure, and as well as the hardware. Now, if you are Microsoft and you are going to start selling this hardware with all this other stuff on it, I would assume they're going to want that 30% markup on this, and it's not going to be like a traditional console where they sell it at a loss just to get people on the platform. I have a feeling they're going to want to make money on these. Now, if you are Microsoft looking at this from a business venture and you want to make money off these consoles, you also want to make money off the back end. And the problem here is if someone is using this machine just to play Steam or games that have no involvement with Microsoft or Activision, then Microsoft really isn't making any money at that point. So they're going to have to make it up on the sales of the machine. And I think you're going to see a really crazy price point on these guys. I wouldn't be surprised if it's, you know, $1,200, $1,500, and maybe even $2,000 up here in Canada and some European countries and stuff like that. It would not surprise me one bit. And the price of PCs, I have a feeling they'll justify it by saying, hey, look, there's an Xbox inside these PC. You're getting the best of both worlds. But I'm sure the hardware will not be as good as a high-end gaming PC, so that kind of throws the argument out the window. We'll see, guys. I have a feeling this is not going to go over quite as well as Microsoft thinks it will. Now, when we look at Microsoft and Sony, we have two different philosophies here. Sony has come out and said their next generation console is not going to be a huge leap. It's just going to be a baby step, kind of like how the PS5 was over the PS4. And Microsoft's philosophy is we want a super high-end premium game system that's going to blow everything out of the water. You know yourself, there's probably going to be quite the cost disparity on these, and I think the casual gamers are going to stick with the PlayStation guys, and I don't think they're going to migrate to Xbox in this generation. The fact that almost half of gamers are still on the older generations, I mean Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the original Switch, people's hesitancy to switch to the newest console has been waning a little bit in years, and it's totally down to the cost of these. They are very expensive, and given that our economies are not in the greatest shape, I don't think people are going to jump at these new consoles when they come out. Now, my overall thoughts on this as a gamer and not someone that has a budget for gaming or anything like that, I think it's a really cool idea, and I think it would be really cool to have one. Now, the practical part of me says, this is kind of stupid and you don't really need everything all in one like this. Like a PC does 90% of what this machine is going to do for probably less of a cost. So that part of me, I'm just going to say it's out of the budget for me, and most of us casual guys, we just won't buy this. They're going to push a lot of people into Sony's arms on the next generation, and that's just the way it's going to be. On that note, we'll see how it plays out for Microsoft and Sony in the next generation of the console wars. I'm going to give it preemptively to Sony here. I just think they're going to win. Thanks for sticking around, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll get into some more game collecting stuff very soon, and I will see you on the next one. As always, you have anything to add, please like, comment, subscribe. I love chatting with you guys, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.